I still remember the moment like it was carved into my memory with a knife. The hall was quiet after the last toast, fairy lights twinkling faintly, and the last notes of the wedding song drifted away. I clutched my bouquet, smiling, feeling lightheaded with joy. Tonight was supposed to be perfect. Our night. When I slipped away from the laughter and music, I thought I'd find my husband waiting in our honeymoon suite, maybe with a slight grin or a congratulatory kiss. But as I opened the bedroom door, the air seemed off, heavy, thick, tense. And then I saw him. He was in the bed, and he wasn't alone. My best friend, my closest confidant, the person who had helped me plan every detail of this day, was there too. My heart stopped, my chest tightened. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to disappear, but I couldn't move. They didn't even notice me at first. The betrayal unfolded in silence, as though I were invisible, a ghost witnessing the life I had trusted being destroyed in an instant. Every laugh, every whispered word, every touch, they had shared it all behind my back. And now it was before me, undeniable, raw, and shattering. I stumbled backwards, my mind racing, my stomach churning. How could this happen? On our wedding night? Of all nights? I had loved him with every piece of my heart. I had trusted my best friend implicitly. And yet, in this single, gut-wrenching moment, everything I believed in crumbled. I shut the door quietly, sliding down to the floor, clutching my knees. I didn't cry, at least not yet. My mind needed to process the impossible, the shock, the anger, the humiliation. Every scenario I had ever imagined for betrayal was child's play compared to this. As dawn crept over the city, I realized something terrifying and powerful. This wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate. And now I had a choice. I could let it destroy me, or I could take control. I didn't know what I would do next, but one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same. The days after the wedding were unbearable. On the surface, everything seemed normal. Family photos were taken, gifts were opened, and the honeymoon celebrations continued as if nothing had happened. But beneath that veneer, I was unraveling. Each smile I forced, each toast I raised, each joke I laughed at felt like a betrayal to myself. The memory of that night, the image of him and my best friend together, was etched into my mind, impossible to erase. I tried to distract myself with mundane tasks, unpacking the wedding gifts, organizing the suite, arranging flowers. But every drawer I opened, every corner I dusted, reminded me of the laughter, the whispers, the intimacy I had never been part of. The betrayal clung to me, silent and relentless, like a shadow I could not escape. I confronted him briefly, attempting to measure his reactions, to see if a sliver of remorse existed. His words were smooth, practiced, but empty. It was a mistake. It meant nothing. I wanted to believe him, to crave that tiny shard of hope that love might survive, but my gut refused. The evidence, the memory of what I had seen, was more vivid, more real than any excuses he offered. Meanwhile, my best friend acted as if nothing had happened. Her laughter, her casual glances, the way she sat near him at family dinners, it all felt like salt in an open wound. How could someone I had trusted so completely betray me without remorse? The duplicity was almost unbearable, but I knew I had to remain composed. Rage, as powerful as it was, could not guide me yet. I needed clarity. I needed a plan. Each day, I cataloged the signs I had missed: the sudden late-night calls, the hushed conversations, the unexplained absences. The pattern was undeniable.
This had been building for months, carefully hidden, meticulously executed. And now, in the light of day, the weight of the betrayal pressed down on me even harder.
I confided in my sister in small doses, testing the waters. Her reaction was immediate: outrage, protective instinct, and fierce loyalty. She became my anchor in a world that had become a storm of deception. "You need to face it," she said firmly. "You can't let them think this is okay. They need to understand the consequences." Friends began noticing my quiet withdrawal, my distracted smiles and hushed murmurs in the background. Some offered comfort, others asked questions I couldn't answer. The internal conflict raged inside me. Confront now and risk a scene, or gather more evidence, ensure nothing could be denied, and strike when the truth would be undeniable. As the week progressed, my life became a careful balance between normalcy and silent investigation. Every interaction, every glance, every text was analyzed. I documented, I photographed, I recorded, not out of obsession, but necessity. To face betrayal this deep, I would need irrefutable proof. The tension was constant, a gnawing pressure in my chest. Every family gathering, every social event, every quiet moment at home reminded me of what had been stolen from me: trust, love, innocence. And yet, amid the pain, a resolve was forming. I could not let this destroy me. I would reclaim control, piece by piece. And when the time came, the betrayal would no longer be a secret. By the end of the week, the initial shock had morphed into a quiet, simmering determination. I had cataloged the evidence, confided in the few I trusted implicitly, and formulated the steps I would take. Confrontation was inevitable, but it would not be rash. It would be calculated, undeniable, and irreversible. The life I had known was gone, replaced by a world where vigilance, patience, and clarity were my only allies. And in the quiet moments, I allowed myself one thought: they may have destroyed the night I had dreamed of, but I will not let them destroy me. By the second week after the wedding, I could no longer contain the storm inside me. Every day spent watching, listening, documenting, and calculating had built up an almost unbearable tension. I knew I had to confront them, not in public, not yet, but in a controlled, private way that would make them face the reality of their actions. I waited until the evening, when the apartment was quiet, and summoned the courage to call them both into the living room. My hands trembled slightly, but my voice was calm, deliberate. "We need to talk," I said. The words carried weight, the kind that silences a room and forces attention. They looked at me, feigning casualness at first, but the subtle shift in my tone immediately made them uneasy. My husband attempted a smile, weak and uncertain. My best friend's gaze darted away, betraying a flicker of guilt she tried to hide. "I know everything," I continued, holding up my phone. "The messages, the calls, the meetings behind my back, I saw it all, and I've documented it." The color drained from my husband's face. He tried to speak, but I held up my hand. "No explanations yet. Listen carefully." I paced slowly, recounting what I had witnessed on our wedding night. Every detail, every nuance, every whispered word that had shattered me was laid bare. My best friend opened her mouth to protest, but I cut her off. "You betrayed not just me, but the trust of everyone who cared about us. This wasn't a mistake, it was deliberate." The room was silent, except for the soft hum of the air conditioner and the faint ticking of the clock. The weight of their shame was palpable. I watched as the veneer of composure cracked, revealing the raw guilt beneath. Their attempts at justification were feeble, weak, and unconvincing. They had underestimated the clarity and resolute of someone who had been deeply wronged but had refused to be destroyed. After the initial shock, I shifted the conversation.
You need to understand the consequences of your actions, not for me alone, but for everyone whose trust you've broken. There will be no hiding. There will be accountability." My husband's hands shook, and he looked at me with desperation, searching for a lifeline that did not exist. "Please, we can fix this," he stammered, but I was unmoved. Fixing was no longer the goal. Acknowledgement, justice, and clarity were.
I paused and let them absorb the gravity of what I had presented. Their silence was deafening, the guilt almost tangible. I allowed a moment for the reality to settle, watching as panic, shame, and fear etched themselves into their faces. Finally, I spoke quietly but firmly. "This isn't about revenge. It's about truth. It's about accountability. You will face the consequences of your actions, whether through personal reflection, social exposure, or the moral weight of your betrayal. And I will not be a passive participant in the aftermath. I am reclaiming my life." They hung their heads, unable to protest further. I left them in that room, trembling, faced with the enormity of what they had done. For the first time, I felt a sense of calm, not peace, but clarity. I had confronted the betrayal. I had forced them to face it. And now the next steps, public exposure, fallout, and eventual justice, could unfold. The night ended with a quiet resolve. I would no longer be the helpless bride betrayed on the most sacred night of her life. I had survived the initial shock, endured the emotional collapse, and now stood firm in the face of deceit. The path ahead would be difficult, painful, and morally complex, but I would walk it with agency, clarity, and courage. The day I decided to reveal the truth publicly, I felt a strange mixture of dread and determination. This was no longer private. This was about making the betrayal undeniable, visible to everyone who mattered, family, friends, and anyone who had been caught in the web of lies. I needed the world to see the reality I had endured. I invited a small gathering under the guise of a casual get-together. People arrived, laughing and chatting, oblivious to the storm that was about to erupt. My heart pounded, but my voice remained calm and deliberate as I addressed the room. "There's something you all need to know," I began. "Something that cannot remain hidden any longer." Eyes turned to me, curiosity sparking in expressions and hushed whispers. I held up my phone and began laying out the evidence, the texts, the call logs, the photos, every piece meticulously organized. Each revelation landed like a hammer blow. Gasps filled the room. People shifted uncomfortably, some covering their mouths in shock, others staring in disbelief. My husband's face went pale. His carefully maintained composure crumbled as he realized that nothing could undo the proof I had gathered. My best friend's lips trembled, eyes wide with panic and guilt. The betrayal, once secret and hidden, was now visible for all to witness. Family members murmured to each other, some shaking their heads, others holding my hand in solidarity. My sister stepped forward, voice steady and cutting. "This is unforgivable. On her wedding night, you betrayed her trust completely. Do you understand what you've done?" The room became tense with moral reckoning. Friends and relatives began taking sides, some comforting me, others silently condemning the betrayers. Whispers turned into soft arguments, and every face reflected the weight of the truth. I spoke again, calm and firm. "This isn't about revenge, it's about accountability. What you did has consequences, not just for me, but for everyone whose trust you violated. This betrayal cannot be ignored." My husband tried to justify his actions, stammering, "It was a mistake. I didn't..." But the murmurs drowned him out. No one wanted excuses. The evidence was indisputable. My best friend's attempts to explain herself failed too. Every word seemed weaker than the one before. The tension escalated as family members and friends voiced their outrage. Relationships began to fracture further. Long-held friendships and alliances wavered under the weight of betrayal. The betrayal wasn't just mine. It rippled outward,
impacting everyone connected to them. Even as anger and disbelief filled the room, I felt a quiet sense of control. I was no longer just the wronged bride. I was the one who had revealed the truth, guided the exposure, and initiated the reckoning. The moral and social consequences were now in motion. By the end of the gathering, the betrayers were left facing the undeniable truth and the disapproval of those around them. The world they had assumed would shield them from consequences had collapsed. They were isolated, shamed, and confronted with the gravity of their choices. I left the room with a strange sense of liberation. The betrayal had been revealed. The fallout had begun. And though the emotional wounds remained, I knew that justice, quiet, inevitable, and moral, was starting to unfold.
Weeks passed after the public exposure, and the world around me had changed in ways I hadn't fully anticipated. My husband and my best friend were no longer welcomed in the circles they had once moved through so easily. Invitations stopped coming, messages went unanswered, and mutual friends took sides. The social consequences of their betrayal were undeniable. I, on the other hand, began to rebuild. The betrayal had left a gaping wound, but it also gave me clarity, strength, and perspective. Each morning, I awoke to a world where truth mattered more than appearances, where my decisions were guided by self-respect rather than fear or manipulation. My family became my anchor. My sister, unwavering, stood by my side through every awkward gathering, every whispered remark, and every uncomfortable encounter. Friends who had been uncertain at first now approached me with admiration and support. I realized that betrayal often isolates the wronged, but truth reconnects them to those who genuinely care. There were moments of quiet pain. Memories of the wedding night, of whispered lies, and of the trust that had been destroyed would occasionally surface. But instead of letting them consume me, I used them as reminders of resilience, clarity, and the strength of self-respect. I journaled my thoughts, wrote letters I never sent, and allowed myself to feel fully without being consumed by anger. Over time, I began to focus on the future. I invested in my passions, my career, and my personal growth. The betrayal had taken much, but it could not take my agency, my mind, or my ability to shape my own life. I reconnected with friends, made new connections, and allowed myself to trust cautiously, but fully, in those who had proven worthy. One evening, as I walked alone in a quiet park, I reflected on the journey. The pain, the anger, the grief, they had been unbearable at first, but they had transformed into strength, insight, and resilience. I understood now that betrayal, as devastating as it is, can illuminate the value of truth, the power of self-respect, and the importance of boundaries. I whispered softly to the night, I am more than what they took from me. I am more than their lies, their deceit, their betrayal. I am whole, even if the pieces of trust were broken. In the end, life continued, not perfectly, not without scars, but with lessons learned, boundaries set, and wisdom gained. I realized that happiness does not require perfection in others. It requires integrity, self-respect, and courage. And as I looked ahead, I knew I had emerged stronger. The wedding night betrayal would always be a part of my story, but it would not define me. I had faced it, exposed it, and survived it with dignity. The moral was clear. Trust is sacred, betrayal has consequences, and the path to healing lies in truth, self-respect, and courage. I took a deep breath, feeling the night air fill my lungs, and allowed myself a quiet smile. I had reclaimed my life. I had reclaimed my power, and I was finally free.